What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 11 of the Wild Blueberries Roundtable. Today, we've got almost a full house. I've got Andrew, Renz, Nick, and Alex with me today, only missing Joey. He will be back for a couple episodes in the near future. We're going to be changing some recording dates to accommodate everybody's time. But today, it's a lot of bits and pieces. Obviously, Game 7 of Stanley Cup Finals on Wednesday. We got Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight. Anthony Davis trade rumors, Craig Kimbrell, Dallas Keuchel, David Ortiz, AL All-Star voting, and a lot of other things to get to because we like discussing random stuff. I mean, look how we discussed the script spelling bee. But to be honest, we've got so much to cover, I don't know where to start. So, Renz, why don't I hand it over to you and you choose where we start today.
Okay, so we're going to start with the Kimbrell and Keuchel signings for now. So, Craig Kimbrell signed with the Cubs for a lot of money. And Dallas Keuchel signed a 1-year, $21 million deal, I want to say.
1 year, it was a little bit more than the prorated qualifying offer, which was what the Yankees were offering him.
Yeah, so I'm just going to give my opinions of both deals. Kimbrell, you probably overpaid for him. Is he going to solve your bullpen problem? Kind of, but you just can't you just can't add just him. Like, you got to add more to trade deadline, and that's what I think the Cubs are going to do. And the Keuchel signing, well, I guess the Braves need to start somewhere in starting pitching. Keuchel's a start, but you got to need a lot more to take over Dan at least. So, let's Scott, what's your opinions on both of them?
I'm going to say this right now. The Yankees did not screw up with Dallas Keuchel. I mean, obviously, yeah, they could have offered him a little bit more money, and he could have been a Yank, but at the same time, his ERA against the Boston Red Sox in his career is about a 9. And if you want to do well, you've got to play against the best. And the Red Sox are part of the best. And a 9 ERA against the best is not good. I'll say that right now.
Okay, that's understandable.
Also, I'd rather have Marcus Stroman any day of the week than Dallas Keuchel. Craig Kimbrell, Cubs, you screwed up. Have fun. He may solve your bullpen problems, but we're going to end up seeing them go out and trade for Sam Dyson or Will Smith sooner than later because they're the Cubs. And the Brandon Morrow contract completely imploded in their faces.
Yeah, that contract looked good at the beginning, but now it's looked so bad.
It never looked good. It was a fluke season with the Dodgers.
You are right with that. I thought it could have done something.
Fluke of a season with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Okay, Andrew, what do you think about those two contracts?
Well, the Cubs, they needed a little bit of bullpen help. Kimbrell gives it to them, but for a little bit more than they probably should have given him.
A lot more.
Yeah, and the Braves, they needed more bullpen help than starting pitching help, in my opinion. So the Keuchel signing is a little bit confusing, but they did just need pitching help in general.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that.
They did get a pitcher.
Yeah.
They did do partially the thing they needed. And if necessary, I mean, Sean Newcomb has pitched out of the bullpen a little bit this year. So maybe if necessary, him or like a Kevin Gausman for a little bit could potentially move into a longer relief role until they get that solid back of the end bullpen guy. Because when you have Luke Jackson, who hasn't been bad, but when you have Anthony Swarzak pitching the 8th inning for you, you have a problem.
Oh boy, Swarzak. Okay,
Sorry, 2000 and whatever Mets. You darn screwed. Oh yeah, 2018 Mets. You darn screwed up with that.
well, at least our contract's gone, but that's a little good old. But Nick, what about you? I know you're familiar with good old hardtack Greg.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been reiterated a couple times that the Cubs needed that bullpen help, and Kimbrell, while in the playoffs he was a heart attack and a half. During the regular season, he was solid. I mean, yeah, he has his I don't even I don't want to say control issues. I just think that he tries to he overthinks it a little bit, and so he can work himself into a jam. As for Dallas Keuchel, it's tough to say, right? Because you've got to start. So as was said, you got to start somewhere with starting pitching, but you can't discredit the fact that this gives Atlanta two solid starters with Keuchel and Tehran, and I just wanted to, because I was thinking about it over the past 6 starts. Tehran has allowed 3 earned runs.
Yeah, he's been pretty good.
He's been firing lately. Now, granted, not against the best of teams, but for him to fall into a groove like that, it's what you want to see from Tehran to kind of start settling in.
To play the worst to become the best, and then you need to keep that standard against the best.
Exactly, and he's on an 11 inning scoreless streak. He's been good, so I think adding Keuchel to the rotation definitely allows them to be more competitive in their offense. They have the offense. The offense has never been the issue, or hasn't been the issue as of recent. So I think that it's a good signing for Atlanta, and like you guys said, it's a 1-year deal. They're not committed to him past this season, so it's not a huge risk. With Kimbrel, they signed him to a 3-year deal, and that's why the Sox didn't sign him, is because he wanted that term, and the Sox didn't want to give it to him. I think that it's a low risk, high reward kind of situation for Atlanta if it works out.
Yeah, sounds about right. Alex.
Well, the Kimbrel signing, I think so. Yeah, Kimbrel wanted something that not many teams were willing to give him, and the Cubs were willing to give it to him. So I think they both met ends, and I think that was a good signing for the Cubs, but I don't think it'll fix their bullpen. I mean, it'll help.
Yeah, that's understandable. And about Keuchel?
And Keuchel, I mean, I think Atlanta's the perfect fit for him. Atlanta needs, if they get into the postseason, they need more than one solid arm. And getting Keuchel, they have their second man in their 3-man rotation for the playoffs.
Okay.
All right. So, now that we have covered the Craig Kimbrel, Dallas Keuchel official holdout ending, because thank God that is over.
That also actually spells the end of the offseason. Could you imagine that?
Spell the end of the offseason. That is true. I'm going to move on to, I'm going to pass it on to Nick, but before we get into like some of the more exciting topics like Game 7 and Game 5 tonight of the NBA Finals, so if any of you haven't heard, which would be very surprising, there was a little issue last night in David Ortiz's hometown of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and it led him to be getting shot through the bottom of his back. He had surgery. They had to do some work on his internal organs. They had to remove his gallbladder and a piece of his intestine. He's expected to make a full recovery. It took place at a bar lounge in his area. Ortiz is traveling to Boston today and will continue to recover at Massachusetts General Hospital. One suspect is in police custody, and 2 others were wounded during the attack, including Dominican TV host Yoel Lopez. And there is security camera showing that the attack was not what it originally was reported to be, which was a robbery on the bar. It was a legit ambush. It was an attack on David Ortiz. So, from everybody, from a sports family, just it may be that people hated him as a player, but when somebody walks into a room in sports, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky, David Ortiz brings that type of character, that type of enthusiasm to a room. And it just sucks that, even as a Yankee fan, it sucks to see somebody like him go through this. Because he is a first ballot Hall of Famer, shit like this shouldn't be happening. I'm not going to go around the round table, but like one at a time without anybody interrupting each other. Just anyone want to bring in any other thoughts on this situation? Because like this is hard on the entire sports community right now.
I guess as the resident Boston fan, I'll just step in, and it was tough. The news broke obviously during Game 6 last night. Kind of put a damper on everything, and it's regardless of the motive of what happened. It's just you never want anything like that to happen to anybody. And, for everything that Ortiz did for, Boston and the New England community, he's a legend. And he as mentioned, the Red Sox, they sent their team plane down there to help transport him back up here to make sure that he has, all the medical care that he needs. And it's just, it's reckless violence. And it's just something that you never want to see. So as they said, seems like he's going to make a full recovery, and that's just all anyone can hope for at this point.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else before we move on to some other subjects? Andrew, Renz, Alex.
I mean, you basically summed it up.
Yeah, you basically
it shouldn't be happening, no matter what the motive was, or that shouldn't be in anybody's brain that oh, I want to go and shoot people.
Yeah, you basically took all the material I was going to say.
And you could see, like, violence like this doesn't only happen in the U.S., people. Wake up. It happens all around the world. Acts of terrorism, acts of violence. Just a little shooting in a bar may not kill anybody, but it could hurt people who don't deserve it. All right. We could have started with that. We could have saved it to the end, but we want to save the more positive stuff to now get our thoughts back into it. Let's start by going to the resident Boston fan. And Nick, why don't you take us through where you're going to be on Wednesday night?
Wednesday night, I will have the pleasure of being high above the ice at TD Garden for Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Probably the only opportunity in my lifetime to see the Stanley Cup presented. It's going to be pretty cool, regardless of who wins. On the one hand, you've got St. Louis last on January 3rd, and now here they are challenging for their first cup in franchise history. And, I do believe it's the only other time that these two teams have met in the Cup Final. We got one of the most iconic goals in hockey history, and arguably one of the most iconic photos in sports history. It's going to be. I like what Steve Dangle said earlier today in his video about.
Not many Boston fans usually like him.
Oh no, I love him. He's a great guy, and I think that he said it perfectly, which is nothing. I believe it was something about nothing brings out the best like the imminent fear of death or something like that, and that's what you get with Game 7, is both teams fighting because there is no next game. This is it. This is what we've waited since October for. I mean, it's going to be a great game, and just cannot wait to be there. It's going to be an electric atmosphere, and I'm just very excited. I obviously I want Boston to win, but it's like I said, it's going to be a heavy hitting game. It's been a heavy hitting series so far, and we'll see what happens. We'll see who ends up coming out on top in the end.
All right, so before we move on to the rest, I'm going to share my thoughts. Obviously, as a New Yorker, there's just something in me always to root against Boston sports. But you know what? At this point, this has been such an entertaining Stanley Cup final. I only have one comment to make, and we will get into that probably next before we move into the NBA. They need to elaborate on extended replay, and that will be going on over the next week. They will be discussing a little bit more on that with the competition committee. But it's been such a great series. Binnington and Rask have been so resilient. It's so awesome to see two teams like this competing, because you don't normally see this. Like, aside from the couple screw-ups and one blowout game, it's been a very close series. So, Alex, what are your thoughts on the Stanley Cup final heading into Game 7 on Wednesday night?
Well, I think that Boston will win it. I just think that Binnington will collapse under the pressure, and Tuukka, who's more experienced in this, will end up coming out on top. But yeah, it's been an entertaining season. I just wish the refs were more consistent. But yeah, no, I mean, whoever wins, it's not like I'll be ticked off if Boston or St. Louis wins.
And I don't think there will be any hate toward either team. Like, obviously, there will be the celebration phase, but I don't think there should be any reason why Bruins fans should be going in and laughing in Blues fans' face or vice versa. Each team played a hard series.
Yes.
What about you, Andrew?
Well, we've looked forward to Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final. It's the pinnacle of hockey. You can't get a game that means anything. You can't get a game that means more than this.
It's probably Super Bowl, then Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, are probably the two most intense, like, annual things. Because, like, if you're talking about, like, the World Cup final, like, obviously that's up there. But, like, for most annual, I think the opportunity to have a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final would be just behind the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Which, for the Bruins, Zdeno Chara is making history Wednesday night, playing in his 14th Game 7. Passing Patrick Waugh and Scott Stevens for most Game 7s played in NHL history, which is absolutely insane. That just speaks to how durable and how long Chara's career has actually been. And then, it again, as we've said in this entire series, it comes down to the goalies. Tuukka Rask was great in Game 6 on the road when he needed to be. And Binnington had a couple of stumbles in Game 6 that allowed Boston to stay alive and force this Game 7, but it's going to be a very fun game Wednesday night. So I really look forward to it because it is the greatest hockey you'll see all year.
All right, and then Renz.
Yeah, I'm running out of material. Goddamn. If there's one thing I want from this Game 7, and Steve Danglos said this, I want overtime. I want the fantasy scenario, and I don't. And for me, like I might be a New York sports fan more than likely, but I honestly don't care who ends up winning, Boston or St. Louis. But yeah, I want an overtime in Game 7. I need that adrenaline. I want it.
At this point, that's where I am too. I want Game 7. I want overtime.
I want
I
overtime
kinda
0-0.
I want double overtime.
Yeah. I want a 0-0 game.
In a 0-0 game, yes. That would be as long as it's a 0-0 game where they're trading chances back and forth and the goalies are making big saves, not a boring 0-0 game that you can sometimes get.
Let's say a 0-0 game where both defenses collapse and somehow Bennington and Rask just stop every shot known to man.
Oh my god, that would be nuts.
It would be. But we'll see what happens on Wednesday.
All right. So, Stanley Cup.
Real quick, just while we're on this topic. I'd like to hear everybody's Conn Smythe votes for each team.
All right, you know what?
Okay.
Off. Mine are easy. So if it's the St. Louis Blues, it's Jordan Binnington. And if it's the Boston Bruins, it's Charlie Coyle.
Okay. For me, it's gonna be either goalie.
I'd have to agree with you there, Vince. Either goalie.
Like, you could think about this in a weird roundabout way. The goalies are the reason why they're in Game 7, but they're also the reason why there is a Game 7 in a roundabout way of either they had a down game, but at the very least, they've been resilient enough to come back and like play like a brick wall.
Yeah, and the only reason I didn't choose Rask is because just like, look at the playoff run. Look at the final that Charlie Coyle has had. And look at the impact that he's made on that third line with Mojo. Like, that's insane.
Yep.
You can't call Boston a one-line team anymore.
No.
They have one line of stars.
Yeah, they have one superstar line, but they have a lot of
all right.
depth.
Yeah, but they're a very solid team, and that's why they're here.
Alex, Conn Smythe.
I think it'll be either goalie. I think that if there was any other goalie for either team, I don't think either of them would have been here at this point.
And then Nick.
So for the Bruins, I'm gonna say Rask. I mean, he's just had an incredible postseason. I think people
for me. I just think Coyle may be they're both really good options.
Yeah, well, and I think that this is really, a lot, as we've said before in the past, Rask gets a lot of flack for some of his past history game wise, but I think that this postseason has just proven proven those people wrong. And then for St. Louis, I'm actually gonna be the odd man out here, and I am gonna say Ryan O'Reilly. I think that if St. Louis did not have Ryan O'Reilly, St. Louis would not have made it to the Cup final. Because yes, Binnington has been great. I mean, he's tied the rookie win record for the playoffs.
Murray, and if he wins,
Matt Murray, and I believe there's one other goalie that he's tied with, but. Ryan O'Reilly just set a franchise record for points in the postseason. He is dominant at both ends of the ice, and I think that his time in Colorado and Buffalo, he wasn't allowed to show that because of the state of those teams when he was there. And if Ryan O'Reilly was not on St. Louis does not make the Cup Finals.
So now, before we move...
I also think the Conn Smythe, sorry for butting in, but I think the Conn Smythe also could go to Jaden Schwartz.
That's true. That is true.
He's just been amazing this playoff. Yeah. I think it would go to either Schwartz or Binnington if St. Louis wins.
All right. So now, before we move into basketball, because there's a little bit of that to talk about, including something going on tonight. The NHLPA announced that there will be 5 players representing the NHLPA at the competition committee meeting tomorrow in Toronto. The players are Ron Hainsey, Connor Hellebuck, Connor McDavid, John Tavares, and James Van Riemsdyk. I think that's a very well-picked, diverse group of players, considering that there are some players that are on opposite sides of the game and getting different types of calls. Like, obviously, somebody like Connor Hellebuck is a goalie, so he has a different perception on it than maybe someone like John Tavares or Connor McDavid going in and skating on it. Like, so I think they made good choices, and Ron Hainsey's just like the vet of that. Like, he's just there probably just to mediate the entire thing. All right. So now, I will move into the NBA Finals. First off, 23 all with 3:33 left in the first quarter. However, Curry is at the line. All 23 of Golden State's points have been scored by Curry, Clay, or KD. Make that all 24 points of Golden State's has been scored by Curry, Clay, or KD.
That's not a good thing.
Curry has 12, KD has 6.
Well, I guess it's 3 players to carry the load this time.
Yeah, because Draymond is a rebound machine.
Yep.
All right. So, obviously, that thing is up in the background for a couple of us. I know myself included. The NBA Finals. And I am literally going to leave it to one question. And I'm going to go around. We're going to do this roundtable really quickly because we got Anthony Davis and All-Star stuff to cover. And then final thoughts. And there are 5 of us, so final thoughts are going to take like 15 minutes itself. All right. Okay. Think about this before you answer. I'm going to start with Alex. Alex, are the Toronto Raptors going to blow a 3-1 lead?
If they don't win tonight, yes.
Why do you say that?
Because if they don't win tonight, then I don't see them winning 2 more against a fully healthy Golden State. I feel like they got this 3-1 lead because Golden State was down a few men, but now that Golden State's coming to full strength, I feel like they're just going to overpower them.
All right. Andrew, will Toronto blow the 3-1 lead?
I would agree with Alex, and because Golden State is now getting back to full health, they got back Durant, they have a healthy Klay Thompson. Andre Iguodala is somewhat healthy. He's healthier than he was at the start of this series.
Yes, and obviously Iguodala is always that player that's like, no matter how hurt I am, I will play in the finals. I will play for my teammates. And especially in this case, the Warriors have got to find a way to bring this man back, or he is going to be highly touted.
Yeah.
Even as a veteran like him.
I think Golden State wins tonight, and that just starts the downfall for Toronto. And they still don't have a championship in that city since
67. 93.
93
Well,
with the
I guess
Blue
if you count the Argonauts, but I don't know.
Who counts the CFL?
Good point.
The
Very
CFL
good
doesn't
point.
count. We're talking about major American sports here.
Okay, that's better.
All right. Ren, since you
It'll be.
will Toronto blow the 3-1 lead?
Depends on how Game 5 ends. If they choke it, yes. But if it's a close game, I would say no. But for Toronto, they want to win this in 5. You do not want to go back to Golden State in 6 and have the chance to blow it in 7 at home. That's really it.
All right. Nick. Will Toronto blow the 3-1?
I do not think so. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you look at, I know that the playoffs, obviously the playoffs are a completely different beast. Just that's a that's a known fact. But if you look at the regular season, Toronto beat the Warriors twice. I believe it was twice. And in one of those games, KD dropped 51. Now, granted, that went to overtime, but I think that Toronto, even if they don't win tonight, they can still beat Golden State. They can still pull this off. It's not all over if they don't win tonight because they've proven that they can beat a healthy Golden State team. They did it twice.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with you. Like, they still can do it. Like, they're able to win. I just don't think they will. Like, if Golden State wins tonight, yeah, I think they're gonna blow it, and Kawhi just missed a 3. And people are falling over each other. All right. So, that simple question of a 3-1 lead took us 4 minutes to get through, which is so funny because a couple of years ago, we would have never thought blowing a 3-1 lead would be something that could actually happen. And then, like,
The Warriors and Indians would like to question that.
And the Indians did it. And now the Raptors have the chance to do it.
Please no.
Technically, the Bruins also did it in 2010. They did have a 3-1 lead at one point.
Yeah,
That
but
they
that's
blew.
the past.
I can continue to bring that up
Nick, I'm sorry.
because they did have
Yeah, but what happened? What happened in 2011?
I don't need to talk about 2011. I want to talk about 2010.
How many championships have I been alive for?
Too many. That's the right answer. Is too many.
Enough to probably pay a mortgage.
Or at least get.
You combine the total value of all the World Series rings, like if you, or championship rings. So, like, if you got one of each ring from each championship, you could probably pay off a house and a duck boat.
Oh no, you could probably pay off a mansion.
And multiple duck boats.
Yeah.
If any of you have never been to Boston, go on a duck boat. Best tour. A duck boat tour of the city of Boston. Nick, can you agree with me there?
Absolutely. So much fun.
I'm a New Yorker. Duck tour was pretty fun. All right. So, talking about players who we thought were gonna go to Boston and now don't think they're gonna go to Boston and don't want to go to Boston. Anthony Davis. So, the wonderful New Orleans Pelicans front office. Just wonderful New Orleans Pelicans front office. Because it's not like Trajan Langdon's been and David Griffin's been in the circle enough already this summer, and it's not even summer yet. They said that they are looking into multi-team deals in order to ship Anthony Davis out, and Davis said the 2 teams he'd be willing to commit to long-term were the Lakers and the Knicks. So I'm going to say one thing as a Knicks fan. RJ Barrett worked out with the Knicks today. he looked really good in his workouts, and apparently they were really happy with him, and Barrett was really happy with how the Knicks treated him, and he really wants to go to the Knicks. I'm sorry, but why don't you hold off? First off, why doesn't Anthony Davis realize next year, 1 year from now, he can go to a team that he wants to. He can go to a team in free agency. So not only that, the Knicks can keep 3, they can draft Barrett and get AD. Low math. But I highly doubt that's going to happen. If the Knicks get Davis, Barrett's going to be on a team with Zion once again. Ren, do you have your thoughts on the whole Anthony Davis situation? Because we all know he's gone.
Yeah. The only reason why Anthony Davis doesn't want to wait for a year is because sports in general are just too impatient. You know, we're all sports fans. Let's be honest, we're all impatient. We cannot wait.
Sports fan.
Exactly. Which is why. Cause fans are just tortured sometimes.
A Blues fan. That's a patient sports fan right there.
Yeah, good chunk of the Midwest.
All right.
Pretty much.
So you're saying that obviously the league is impatient, and so is Anthony Davis. He wants to get out of there as soon as possible.
Yep. And the Pelicans, even though they might be in a terrible situation, and I'm going to say this now, they should have taken that Lakers offer. They should have. That GM was an idiot, and thank God he's gone. Like
I don't know what Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss were thinking when they made that offer.
Yeah, but they were fortunate enough that the Pelicans GM was even more of a dumbass.
That is true. All right.
So
it's fair. You had more to say?
No, that was it.
Okay. Let's go to Alex.
Well, the first thing I do if I'm in the Pelicans front office is A, make them change their name because the Pelicans is a stupid name, and B, try and get that 3rd overall pick from the Knicks. Because I think that there's enough value in that pick where they could get Anthony Davis and a little bit more. They could get a little bit more for Anthony Davis.
Wait, so you're saying that the Knicks could get more than...
No, I misword. The Pelicans could get more, not the Knicks. I think the Pelicans.
Wait, no. If the
Knicks are
able to get more than Anthony Davis for the
the Knicks. If the Knicks could get some maybe some random white dude off the Pelicans bench, but no, I think the Pelicans would be able to.
Dermot, we turned him into Emmanuel Mudiay.
Fair.
Who's been somewhat decent.
No, I think the Knicks could get like a decent 6-man for Anthony Davis, plus like a high prospect or draft pick.
All right. So, obviously, so now we got some conflicting thoughts on the value of R.J. Barrett and how much of an asset he could be to a team.
I think R.J. Barrett's severely overrated. I think he was carried by Zion, and if he has to be the man, I don't think he'll be able to do it.
He won't be the man with the Knicks, though, because the Knicks are going to get him a surrounding piece. And by surrounding piece, I mean R.J. Barrett is going to be that surrounding piece.
I just don't think that R.J. Barrett... I think R.J. Barrett worked good as a supporting character. I don't think he'd do... I don't think he'd do anything as the main.
You don't think he'll be a good main man?
No, I think he's fine as a supporting. I just don't think he'll be like the guy.
No, I have to agree with you there. I don't think R.J. Barrett is like a perfect player.
No.
Every NBA player, every player in every sport has their flaws.
Yes.
All right. So what about you, Nick?
So as far as Davis and the Knicks, I don't pretend to know much about basketball, but I do know that when it was rumored that the Celtics were trying to trade for him, Jason Tatum was involved in that deal, and that's just going to be a no from me, dog. Celtics are really don't think are in a position to trade away somebody like Jason Tatum, especially not if Kyrie's gone.
Get rid
So
of like Kyrie Irving.
yes, but I still think it's just it would not be a smart decision to trade away the value that the Pelicans want for Anthony Davis from the Celtics point of view. I do not think that it makes sense.
All right. Now let's go to our resident Philadelphia 76ers fan whose team is going to end up signing 2 max contracts this offseason, just like the Knicks.
Hopefully, we end up signing 2 max contracts.
One's going to be Tobias Harris.
Hopefully, it's Toby and Jimmy. I'd love if they're both back.
Andrew Bogut is coming in. Oh no, he's already in. Damn it. I thought he was just coming in. Andrew Bogut's in the game. Woo.
It would be wonderful if we can bring both of them back. It's going to be tough because then you've got the Ben Simmons extension coming, which is almost certainly going to be another max contract. So you're looking at 4 max contracts, and where's your depth for the Sixers in the coming years?
Depth? What's depth?
Depth in the NBA?
You only need depth in the NBA. All you need is a top 3. I'm being sarcastic, okay?
You probably need 7 to 8 quality players.
Yeah, pretty much.
With a big, at least 3-man rotation that can carry the load.
Oh yeah, that definitely sounds about right.
So technically, by that logic, you only need to bring one of them back.
But you would prefer to bring both
I'd
of them.
prefer that they both come back.
I don't blame you.
They both played well. We only had about 15 to 20 regular season games with all four of Simmons, Embiid, Tobias, and Jimmy. And then even in the playoffs, you had Embiid, who was sick half the playoffs and wasn't playing it as best he could.
Why is Katie on the ground?
It appears he took a
Katie's limping.
He took a fall.
Oh boy, Warriors.
All right, guys, let's run back to that. Alex, will the Raptors blow 3-1 lead?
Yes.
All right, Renz, will the Raptors blow a 3-1 lead?
Let's just say no this time.
Nick, will the Raptors blow a 3-1 lead?
Definitely not.
Andrew, will the Raptors blow a 3-1 lead?
They still do.
Raptors fans are cheering.
Hold up.
Raptors are cheering on the fact that Kevin Durant's going to the locker room. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
I can't tell if that's cheering or they're just clapping that he's not hurt worse than he is.
Probably both because they're Toronto.
I mean, it's Toronto. You can never tell.
So
If they're cheering, they're assholes.
I'll say Game 7. I'm not sure where to go from there, so maybe question mark. The only thing I know about this series is that Kevin Durant's going to be a Knick after him. All right. What?
Well then.
What? Katie is going to be...
You're not wrong.
You're
not wrong. Yeah.
I think that was funny how that escalated while we were in the middle of basketball.
It was.
All right. So we got 2 more topics before final thoughts. This is going to be on the longer side. A little bit more of a smaller topic, though. Hold on. Let's just see. Nick, your beloved Red Sox bullpen blew the game.
I'm aware. I'm fully aware.
In the 7th.
Yep. I watched Brandon Workman absolutely blow it. It took a pinch hit from Brock Holt in the bottom of the 9th to even tie this game.
Fans were chanting KD as he went off with an injury, so that's actually class. That's class. Oh, no.
Okay, that's good.
That wasn't like a positive KD. No, that was cheering that he was going off. Okay, no class, Toronto fans. Now I hope they blow a 3-1 lead.
You are very bipolar when it comes to the Raptors.
I'm a New York Islanders fan. I am bipolar when it comes to Toronto sports. Period.
That is very true.
That's why That's why I don't know who to root for when Boston and Toronto play each other in any sport.
Well, that's only 2 sports. Or 3.
Right.
Yeah, that's only.
All right. So, Raptors fans, you should not be doing that. I hope you blow a 3-1 lead now for chanting about somebody getting hurt. That's a little bullshit. I'm sorry. Toronto told us that Isles fans were classless. That's great. Thanks, Raptors fans, for showing us that Leafs fans are wrong. Raptors Rapture, who's part of Fanside, tweet out, "Hey, don't cheer Kevin Durant going down. We shouldn't need to tell you not to do this. This ain't hockey." Some harsh reputation damage right there for Toronto sports fans.
I mean, to be fair, they've had pretty terrible reputation for a while.
Can we, if we're talking about reputation, Philadelphia sports fans blow everyone else out of the water.
You aren't wrong.
Good point.
But
This
Toronto sports fans.
This coming from a Philadelphia fan who has that reputation, despite incidents like that add to our reputation, not happening over 50 years ago before I was born.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just depressed
right now. There's a lot of response on social media right now. Saquon Barkley said they're really cheering because he's hurt. SMH. See you in Katie Allhart tonight. That was by Sean Marash. She's part of CBS Sports Radio. But Toronto.
Joel Embiid.
Raptors fans, you really shouldn't do that. Did Joel Embiid just tweet out?
He tweeted out, "Why are they cheering for his injury? Come on, man, disgusting."
Okay, Toronto fans just went down a level on the class rating for me. Let's see if Steve Dangle has anything to say.
That looked like an Achilles.
Oh, that might be. That's rough on especially
based on the way he was grabbing his ankle towards the back of his ankle.
Yeah, that'd be rough if it was an Achilles.
That'd be really rough if it would be an Achilles tendon. Well, no matter what, he's done for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
More than likely.
So that's crazy.
Yeah, he's done.
So, guys, that's crazy to think Katie's next game will be in a Knicks uni, right?
You'd expect that.
Come on, go.
No, he's gonna come to Detroit. Totally.
No, he's gonna go to the Nets just to be cruel.
No,
that's not.
Guys, ready? I have an idea.
That's an Achilles. That's an Achilles.
Yep. Yeah, Scott.
Hold on, wait. Where did you just see the replay?
Yeah, that's an Achilles injury.
Yeah, I just saw it too. That is very much an Achilles.
Let me see this.
Just came in on the ESPN Twitter feed.
Wait. Wait. Achilles. Has to.
You can just tell by the way he lands.
So that's probably torn.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, you can tell by the way he lands
Mm,
as a torn Achilles.
If it was an Achilles injury, he wouldn't be walking if the medical trainer and Andre Iguodala were helping him. Heck, if 4 teammates were helping him. So maybe it's not as bad as it could be, but it's still a really bad injury.
Yeah.
So now let's move on to... Oh, Curry's coming back in. All right. So now let's move on to something that's just fun. The MLB All-Star Game. Right? Because we all have fun during that. The AL All-Star vote getters for the first tally came out. Luke Voigt leads all first basemen, followed by CJ Cron, Jose Abreu, Carlos Santana, and Albert Pujols. Second base is Tommy La Stella, followed by Jose Altuve, DJ LeMahieu, Jonathan Scope, and Michael Chavez. Third base, Alex Bregman, Gio Urshela, Hunter Dozier, Rafael Devers, Matt Chapman. Catchers, Gary Sanchez, followed by James McCann, Jason Castro, Robbie Chirinos, and Christian Vasquez. Shortstops, Jorge Polanco, Carlos Correa, Gleyber Torres, Tim Anderson, Xander Bogaerts. DH, JD Martinez, Hunter Pence, Nelson Cruz, Shohei Ohtani, Giancarlo Stanton. And outfield is Trout, Springer, Meadows, Brantley, Betts, Rosario, Judge, Gallo, Reddick, Kepler. All right. Most surprising result out of update 1. Let's start with Alex.
Well, I think the most important thing you forgot to mention that 10th in a first base AL is Chris Davis.
Oh no, I only have the top 5 up.
Well, 10th is Chris Davis, and I think we all need to do our part and get Chris Davis into the All-Star game and have the starting right field of the infield be Chris Davis and Tommy La Stella.
So
Hello,
like the
the
John
glorious
Scott,
memes.
so like the John Scott thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Chris Davis is your John Scott,
Yeah.
Yes.
and Tommy La Stella is actually playing well.
Tommy
Yeah.
La Stella is actually a beast.
Yeah, the Stella's actually good.
Where'd you find the top 10?
MLB.com.
On the MLB app.
All right. Because I'm on the All-Star Game Twitter account. All right. AL primary vote updating. Where are the other Yankees? Well, I mean, there aren't many other Yankees that aren't top. Gardner's 13, Hicks is 16. All right. Yep. So literally every Yankee is represented in the top 3 infield, top 16 outfield, and the 5th DH. I love my team. All right. So Chris Davis, Tommy La Stella, left side of the All-Star Game 2020 or 2019. Are we all good with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing that I just want to kind of interject with is that I think it's a little bit disrespectful to players like LeMahieu, Scope, Chavis, Merrifield, and Lowe that Altuve has as many votes as he does when he hasn't played since May 10th. He hasn't played a game since May 10th.
I'm sorry, but if the second base ratings or second base votes were actually based on like legitimacy, it should be LeMahieu, Chavis, La Stella, Altuve, Scope probably.
I'd put Merrifield and Lowe over Altuve and Scope.
Oh yeah, probably LeMahieu, Merrifield, Chavis, La Stella, Scope.
Well, that's the problem with All-Star voting in general.
Well, that's
True.
It's a popularity
Very
contest.
true.
why I like the new way they're doing it with the primary voting.
Yeah, I rather honestly have it be a like writer's decision or like executive decision,
Like-
just because I don't trust fans.
No, because I like all the people voting for Albert Pujols. Like, they're gonna vote for CJ Cron after because he's the former Angel, right? So
Yeah, in a way.
who's had a very good season will get a lot of votes and get a lot of recognition. All right. I'll go with mine next. My surprising thing is that Josh Fagley is 7th in catchers, despite being the third best hitting catcher in the American League this year, behind
League leading in RBIs. For catchers, league leader in RBIs.
who? Lucroy?
No, Fagley.
Not Lucroy, Fagley, yeah. So it should be Sanchez. It's Sanchez, Vasquez, and Fagley are the 3 best hitting catchers in the American League right now. It's a shame that Fagley's in 7th. And also, wait, there was one more that got me really pissed off. Alberto Mondesi is 8th.
Because he plays for the Royals. Like I said, like Whit Merrifield being 6th for second base, it just doesn't make sense.
They both
I mean,
All-Star.
Again, it's a popularity vote.
And I mean, ever since the Omar Infante thing, the Royals guys have never had as much support. Because, like, if you're looking, Alex Gordon isn't even top 20 for outfielders. And arguably, he's been the second best offensive player on the Royals this year. All right. So, Nick, what'd you say was your most surprising thing?
Just kind of looking through this. Again, Altuve in second. I disagree with that, and I don't think if he hasn't played since May 10th, he should not be eligible to be voted in the All-Star game. It's not fair to people who've been playing for the past month. And the last thing that I will say about this, it's 2 things very quickly. The fact that Mookie Betts is top 5 is shocking because he really hasn't been phenomenal this season.
Awful. Mookie hasn't been Mookie.
No,
Exactly. That's why I think it's surprising. And then I'm also a little bit surprised to see Gleyber Torres at number 3 for shortstop. I know, being a Yankees fan, you probably enjoy seeing that. I just think Tim Anderson has been better than him this season.
Better season, but Torres has been very good this season.
Yeah.
You know what I do like, though? You know what I really do like about this? I don't care if there's a 400,000 vote gap between them. Gio Urshela is second. Because
Good luck getting past Bregman.
good luck catching up to Alex Bregman, everybody. He's not going to, or nobody's going to.
Nobody's going to.
Second, catcher's already set. Like, Gary Sanchez has 737,000 votes. James McCann has 289,000.
He's not being caught.
Boyd has 393. Cronin 302. Abreu has 286. So that's close. Listella's got 487. Altuve's got 448. LeMahieu's got 379. So that's close. That's a top 3. Because then Scope's got 179. So we know the primary for second base. We know it's Listella Altuve, or the secondary, like the election. It'll be Listella, Altuve, and LeMahieu. Third base, it's kind of a easy decision, but we will find out or secondary or the election after. And then shortstop, we kind of have a feeling of what it's going to be. Outfield,
You've got a top 4.
Yeah, it's just
at shortstop.
It's just who makes it between Torres, Anderson, and Correa. 2 of them are going to make it.
Yeah.
Outfields, we probably know the primary already. It'll be Trout, Springer, Meadows, Brantley, and Betts. Despite Rosario only being down 106K, which is nothing in retrospect. Also, Hunter Pence for American League designated hitter. All right.
Well, there will be nine batters for the outfield.
There will be 9 for the outfield. Forgot about that.
Because you're putting 3 at each position. So with the outfield, it's
And 9 for the outfield.
9 for the outfield.
Close enough, but we know that it'll probably be Trout and Springer and somebody else.
Yeah.
All right. So, obviously, I've shared my surprising. Nick shared his. Alex has shared his. Andrew?
I'd go with Jorge Polanco because he's been having
an okay.
He's having a great breakout year. He has not played this well before in his career. So to see him and be on a surprisingly good Twins team is
the best part about it. Like,
yeah, I mean he's hitting 333 this year. It's not like he's hitting 333 with 10 bombs. So he's playing very well for his career. Like he never had hit better than 300 in his career before this year.
All right. And then Renz.
For me, this is not surprising. For me, I wouldn't say this is surprising. Well, actually, surprising. Just looking at the outfield, when you get lower, 6 is Rosario, 7 is Judge somehow, 8 Gallo, please. If not, get him the home run derby.
2 Twins in the top 10.
Yeah.
2 Twins in the top 10. That's saying something. All right.
It is.
So, obviously, we are going to make a final thought, but everybody is going to make a final thought because we have really ran this long because of the whole Kevin Durant injury and a couple other things that have popped up throughout the time.
Can I just make a quick mention of how awful Phillies pitching has been tonight? 7 home runs tonight for the Diamondbacks. Gerard Dyson, Kentel Marte, David Peralta, Alex Sevilla, Ildemaro Vargas, and Eduardo Escobar has a pair of home runs.
6 different home runs.
Garrett Eichhoff allowed 5 of them, and Ron Hare Suarez has allowed the other 2.
Yep. And they're down 11-4.
While the Red Sox have 2 on and 2 out for Michael Chavis in the bottom of the team. All right. So, final thoughts. Let's start with Ren.
Okay, so my final thought for me, and this is going for me on the Mets side. Mets, just take 2. Just take one of the 2 games versus the Yankees. Don't lose both games to be under 3 games over 500, and then win 2 games.
No.
Yay, fun. Also, on another note. Also, on another note, I understand what a hustle by the Yankees to let the doors open, even though there was no chance of a game happening.
I love my baseball team.
I mean,
team. Just the thought process behind today was just not great.
It wasn't, but I gotta respect the hustle.
Hey, you know what?
Like in some,
do as much as they can to make some moolah.
That is very true. Okay.
All right, Nick, final thought.
The Red Sox need to get a better bullpen because I'm honestly sick of this extra innings shit.
It's bases loaded, 2 outs. Bogarts is
Oh, I'm aware. I'm just sick of having to go to extras because Chris Sale struck out 10 over 7.
Yeah, that's not a good thing, especially with like the pitching rotation you have, or like Sale.
Is that simply on your pen, or is that more on the offense as well?
No, it's on.
To not get in more run support.
It's both. It's both, but the fact that Chris Sale 3 hit them over 7 innings, only gave up 1, struck out 10, and the bullpen can't come in and simply close the door. It's just embarrassing.
The offense
You aren't wrong.
great this year. I'll say that. Like, your offense has not been what a lot of people expect it to be.
It hasn't, but that still doesn't excuse single A caliber bullpen.
Expected Martinez to be a lot better than he has been. I expected Betts to be way better than he has been. And then you've just got your team's mightily obsession over the subpar center fielder you have.
Subpar hitter.
Subpar hitter,
Still
average defender, Bradley Jr.
No. He's the best defensive center fielder in the MLB, and you know it.
Okay, he's up there. And then, all right. Who else needs to give a final thought? Alex?
The brawl in the Pirates Brewers game was completely unavoidable.
Pirates.
So, yeah. What?
The Pirates.
You mean Pirates Braves?
The Pirates Braves game.
Pirates Braves.
You said Brewers.
The one that happened, that was completely unavoidable. I think it looked like the ball just slipped from Musgrove's hand, and then Josh Donaldson completely overreacted. And the Pirates bullpen sucks. I think every bullpen in the MLB sucks though this year.
Yankees been okay. They've been okay. Oh God, Alex McRae and Hartleb have been bad tonight. Oof. Ouch. Ouchies. Braves are up 10-5 on the Pirates as we speak.
I know.
Marte did hit a home run though.
That he did. But when you score 5 runs, you shouldn't lose by 5.
When you score 4 runs, you shouldn't lose by 7. But
that's also true.
Ryan Brazier's in the game now, Nick. Have fun.
I know.
All right, so I'm going to end my end the final thoughts with my one final thought on. Oh wait, shit, Andrew. Yeah, you. I forgot your thought wasn't the Philly thought. I thought your thought was the Philly thought.
No, my thought has to be in a much better mood than the Phillies have me today. My final thought comes to us courtesy of the Philadelphia Union on Saturday night. Ilsinho is a cheat code.
Ilsinho took away Player of the Week from Moxie Morales, who had a goal and 3 assists.
Ilsinho came on in the 53rd minute, had 2 goals and an assist in a 3-2 comeback win over our rival New York Red Bulls.
Yeah,
you can't get much better than that. Yes, Moxie Morales had a good night. Ilsinho had a great night and did it with style like he always does. He is the perfect super sub. Teams can know he's coming on, and they still can't stop him. You know exactly where he's going. He's going to the right side, down the right side of the field, and cutting in towards the goal, doing step overs and beating players off the dribble. it all. He brought us back. We are in first place in the Eastern Conference at the Gold Cup break. This Philadelphia Union team is for real. There we go.
All right, now my final thought. And I'm going to end us off with. What am I going to end us off with? You know what? I'm gonna end this off with a nice little thing about. I don't know how to phrase this because this is just an interesting time in general. A nice little comment about what the Edmonton Oilers seem to be doing right now, which is something smart.
Oh,
So the Oilers just named another few front office guys. Tom Alsemi, who's worked with the team for a while, is president of business ops and COO now. But they have also named Bob Nicholson the chairman of the Edmonton Oilers. That's his new role, and you know what? It's probably the best role he's had. Because Nicholson is actually smart. Like, he knows what he's doing. He just never had the the wonderful GM to help him, and I think now he does. All right. So that is it for an. Oh, also, congrats to the Charlotte Checkers on the Calder Cup championship. That is it for episode 11 of the Wild Blueberries Roundtable. We will, in the future, we have a couple episodes coming up just devoted to one sport and one sport only, the NHL. And there'll be a draft video up where we will be doing a mock draft of round one where we will each have our teams and we get to pick for them. There will also be a free agency video coming soon, or a free agency episode as well. We will be doing our full picks for, or our majority picks for the MLB All-Star teams, and also an NBA little preview of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Kawhi Leonard fever we've got going on. Starting July 30th at like 6 p.m. because they don't want it the same time as Panarin's going to sign. Good job, NBA. All right. We will see you on episode 12.